Welcome to Dog Hub, your podcast celebration sponsored by Knives, Brands, and Purple Testing, your roadmap to better health. Equus, USA beauty-grade natural shampoos, conditioners, clean and spray. Loving pets, that's what we do. Dog Iguana, no poison trees, natural loving Iguana with your host, Larry G-Dog, and Carolyn Sarah, and me, Larry Gray. Today is our wildlife special with Tracy Grogan. It's under the sea with photographs and animals in this week on the sunset. Tracy also takes us to African dogs. Big giveaway today, so stay and play.
Hello, everyone. Oh,
Hey,
and
Charlie.
welcome to Dog Hugs. We are the home for the best life for your dog today. I'm coming to you live from Kansas City. I'm Geraldine Chata with Puppy Fever.
And I'm Larry K with The Missing Dog, coming to you live from the Laundry Lounge in Los Angeles. Oh my goodness, Geraldine.
Check it out.
How old is this one?
As of today, he is 7 days old, so he's 1 week old.
Oh my
And
God.
his eyes are not open yet. So anyone that doesn't know, we had an oops litter recently. And thank goodness I'm experienced at whelping dogs. So it was very helpful that I had that experience. However, this is one of the 4. And he is exactly 7 days old right now. I was there while he was born, which is pretty amazing, especially for all of you who have ever watched the National Dog Show. In 2018, the dog who won, his name was Whiskey, I believe, and he was Whippet, and he was actually born next to the handler's bed. Literally, he birthed his own dog that showed at the National Dog Show. Pretty incredible story and warmed my heart. So anyone who not only loves interesting whelping stories like that, also if you need your puppy fix, the pandemic puppy fix, we have it for you here on Dog Hugs.
Oh my God. And did you say what this dog's name might be, or do we know yet?
Well, if y'all have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them, because my original plan was to name them after cars or cities, because the mother's named Casey and the father's name is Senna. Kansas City, and then the father's name is Senna after Ayrton Senna. I believe that's how you say his name. And he was from Brazil. He passed away in 1985, I think. He was a Formula One race car driver that was super fast and super aggressive and really a neat human being. However, he did hit a wall on a specific race, and unfortunately he passed away from that. So Senna lives in his legacy because Senna is crazy fast. So the race car driver, or the car, and the city names, but this little guy has a little heart on his forehead, and he has a little tidal wave on the back of his neck. So I thought maybe I'd name him Tidal Wave.
Oh yeah. Or Tsunami.
Or Tsunami. Tsunami might be fitting, because he's fat and hits you hard. And if you can see really quickly, his nose has little freckles on it, and those freckles will fill in as he ages. Right now, there are way more freckles than there were when he was born last week. And also, if you notice, his eyes are still closed, and his ears are also still closed. So he's blind and deaf still. They should start opening this Friday, around 10 days old, Friday, Saturday. I'll start noticing that his eyes will open and he'll be able to see. I won't know his eye color right away, but it'll show up shortly thereafter. And then his little ears will open, and then he'll start to bark.
Oh my goodness.
So we're very blessed. So if you have a chance to toss a name at me, I've got 4, and I have not named any of them officially yet. So
well, we've got a few folks coming in with some names suggesting. Scott Reagan says cute pup. Is Scott with the other puppies today, Geraldine?
No, he is not. He is actually at the office today. I'm on duty, puppy duty, and I also, as you know, wasn't here yesterday. Wasn't there
Yes.
with you all yesterday because I was at the emergency room. Isn't that fun? Silly me. I
Are
still
you
have my
okay?
little. Yeah, I'm fine. Just I bumped my head. When you have puppies like this, you have to be up throughout the night, right?
Right. That
Yes,
means you
you're.
don't get sleep, right?
Yeah, you don't get any sleep.
That
So
means you might be accident prone. At least
yes,
that's
that
how it
mine's
works in my life.
yes. And I've always been a little accident prone, and I can always catch myself because I'm really strong. At being a dog trainer, you have to be strong. You have to be stronger than the dog, and that's saying a lot because dogs are incredibly strong. They're engineered to be strong, fast, furious. I always had to keep up with them, keep up with that pack. And
Yeah.
so I can always catch myself before I hurt myself. And I really don't want to hurt my face, my shoulders, my knees, my hips, all of those places where I need them. So
Or your brainery,
my brain bucket.
your brain bucket. So speaking of the name tsunami on little one's back or tidal wave,
Either
uh,
one.
you know, uh,
Let me show you.
you are quite the scuba diver. And as you know,
Oh,
Geraldine, we have a guest today who is also quite the scuba diver. And Geraldine and our guest, Tracy Grogan, exchanged some wonderful. Wait a minute, I'm going to pause here. I think I heard a little puppy.
you did.
Okay. I'll be better. I'll be quicker on the draw next time.
We're going to actually record that sound for you all, and we'll post it on a link on our Positively Wolf page because if you're ever stressed, just listen to a puppy like this make those noises. Very rarely do you get to see this young of a puppy. But let's go back to the scuba diving. You were
Yes.
saying that we shared similar stories with scuba diving.
Yes, yeah. You and Tracy, as folks you'll see later in the show, both of them have some wisdom for us. I'm a rookie diver, and Geraldine gave me some pointers before I took my first dives last summer in Hawaii. And also Tracy who you'll meet in a little bit, was my mentor on it. Tracy's been on more than 1,400 dives and all over the world. I think every
It
continent except for Australia. I mean, Antarctica.
It makes my 74 dives look like nothing. Like it makes me
Oh
look like I
my!
haven't had any dives compared to someone that's had 1,400. But my scuba journey started very early. My parents started scuba diving when I was 12,
Huh.
and you cannot be certified until you're 13. However, they trained me along with them and they allowed me to take the test. I just couldn't be certified until I turned 13. And that was the rules they had back then. They're changed now. I can kind of see why. I mean, it's a lot of pressure on your body going down that deep. But
Absolutely
then,
is.
moving fast forwarding all the way to, I was able to dive with someone who was training for their master diver in Honduras in 2006,
Hmm.
and wow, it was amazing. There's nothing like diving down to 100 meters or whatever feet. I mean, we went really deep, but we were there for 3 weeks. So, and I had already been diving before, so this was for me, I wanted to go deeper.
Yeah. I've
And I
been
will
to
tell
like
you that
30 feet, maybe 50 feet, and ooh, that was tough.
it
And
takes so
the,
much to go, and I'm probably wrong on my math today because I'm crazy today, but I literally have gone, I want to say the last dive we did was 130 feet,
wow.
and I just you can feel the pressure on your body. So no, not 100 meters, it was 100 feet and then 130 feet. So going down that deep changes your perspective on everything, especially safety
Hmm.
and watching out for your buddy
Yes.
and communication because you can't talk.
Right.
You can't say, "Hi, how you doing over there? You feeling okay?" "Oh no, I feel terrible." That can't happen.
Yeah.
So communication is key. How we
Geraldine,
doing on the interview?
well, we're having a little bit of a technical glitch here on my mouse. My mouse has decided to stop working. And,
Oh
my
no.
mouse went back in the mouse hole.
So we'll
But
discuss
folks,
maybe. Go
yeah,
ahead.
the giveaway, today's giveaway from 5 strands. Tell us about
Yay.
that with your other hand.
Well, this is going to be an amazing experience for all of us because my dog, I tested her hair with the 5 strands method back in 3 years ago, I would say. And
Yeah.
I got her on a really great diet. She was doing so well. Well, there's something in some of the food that I recently gave her that I could tell when the puppies nursed, they
Yeah.
turned really bright red.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking that I have to go double check her food and take out whatever that red or yellow item is while she's nursing and make certain that I have her healthy. So this is a way that you can do that when your pet's not having puppies. You can take 5, 10 strands of hair or your own, because they do test human hair as well, and you will be amazed at what you might be eating or what environmental things might be around you right now that are giving you a fit. I found out a really interesting tidbit. I read it yesterday in the morning. It was a blip about how people who are allergic to cats could also be allergic to pork. So when they eat pork, the cat and the pork have a similar protein, and if you're allergic to that protein with one species, then you're allergic to it with both. And a lot of people don't know that. So it's really nice to understand what you're eating, what your environment is, and how it's affecting your health, your well-being in general, and possibly your lifespan.
Well, we
So who do
have
we
some.
have?
Yeah, we've got some hellos, some folks on puppy overload here today.
Of course we do.
We got Steve Collier's going so cute, and welcome Lupita. It looks
Hi,
like you're
Lupita. Hi,
coming
Steve.
from a Spanish-speaking country. I'm going to guess Mexico. We have a lot of fans in Mexico who is having puppy overload here, Lupita, and hello to Karen. And hello from Billy Lee. Folks, get in the giveaway. Just say, I want to be in the giveaway. And if you're in the USA, Charlie, if you were with us at the top of the show, is going to give you a number, and you'll get a number. And Brenda Patricio says, oh my God, cute puppy. Name, how old? We're looking for names.
So this is a little boy. He was the second one born in the litter. He is a I don't think I mentioned earlier there, but maybe I did, a 3/4 border collie, 1/4 mini Aussie, and we don't have a name yet, and he is exactly 7 days old. His eyes and his ears have not opened. They will in the next 3 to 4 days.
Yes. Well, Geraldine, we're going to go a little hi from Kimberly Smith. We're going to go a little bit unconventional. Usually, folks, we have the whole first part of the show first, but since that is still doing its technical thing, we're going to have the second part of the show first, and you're going to get to meet Tracy Grogan, who is, in addition to being a amazing scuba diver and novelist, I get to call him a friend. We've known each other. We were college roommates.
Wow.
We've known each other. And
That's fantastic.
When I went to college, Geraldine, that was before paper was invented.
I thought bread or potato chips. I thought it was before potato chips were invented.
That's right. All right. So while our technology is doing its thing, you're going to enjoy, and we'll meet the painted dogs, the endangered painted dogs of Africa. We're going to get to meet Tracy Grogan and go underwater. So here's Tracy. I want to talk about photography. You have such amazing photographs, and I know, Tracy, you only call yourself an amateur. Do you have any wildlife photography tips for us, underwater or on land?
Yeah, so what they used to say back in the film days, back when the cameras didn't do everything, was F8 and be there. Set the f-stop at 8. Be there. So be in the moment. Don't be chasing things around. Wait. If you wait in the water, things will come by you. You're not a threat. They don't worry about you. Fish swim right by. I provided you a photo earlier today of a sea snake that was swimming between Dana's legs. Made Dana a little bit nervous, but the wildlife will come to you. And so just wait. Be in the moment. Be there. Have your camera ready. We were at a place in Indonesia called Lembeh Straits, which is known for its tiny little things that are ½ inch long, things that are 1 inch long. And I was taking a picture of a 1 inch or ½ inch long shrimp that was riding on the back of a 2 inch long sea slug. And I had my smallest, my best macro lens on, and I had a 10 times diopter on it so I could fill the frame with this thing. And I noticed this strange vibe in the water. And I turned around and a whale shark was swimming towards me. Now, it's a juvenile whale shark, but still 15 feet long. And here I am with my camera with my 10 times diopter on my 60mm lens set up for things that are 2 inches long. I didn't even bring my camera up to my eyes. I just watched this thing go by. And it was a glorious moment. I remember it well. And I don't have a picture, but I don't care.
What was your inspiration when it comes to diving? I'm so amazed. I love that. So could you share a little bit about that?
I share this with about 75% of all divers. Sea hunt. Watching sea hunt as a kid. Larry knows this. I'm deaf in one ear, and I wanted to dive when I was 16, and my ear, nose, and throat doctor told me I couldn't because if I damaged my good ear, I would go completely deaf. And divers damage their good ears all the time, according to this doctor. When he retired, I checked with all the doctors on our health plan until I found one who was a scuba diver. And so I signed up with him, and he said, go get certified. 4 weeks later, I was certified. 5 weeks later, I was down in the Great Barrier Reef in Australia. On my very first dive, I had horrible buoyancy skills. I couldn't get under the surface. I had too much air in my BC. I was pulling myself down the anchor chain. I was about 20 feet down, and my Insta buddy, the guy who'd been assigned to be my buddy, came and grabbed my wrist and shook it and pointed it overhead, and a manta ray was swimming over my head. And I thought that was the best $360 I've ever invested in getting certified. And I thought I'll be a diver for the rest of my life. And that was 24 years ago and 1,400 dives ago. And I'm not going to let up. We're going to the Galapagos Islands in January, pandemic willing.
Wow. And I will tell you that everything you've said resonates with me and every diver because of the process. But my favorite part of learning to dive, besides the animals not having the sense of time, was learning to hover, learning to handle my breath. Yeah. I believe that breath is one of the most important parts of life that we overlook. And I do believe that diving helps you become one with your breath. Because if you learn to control your breath, your oxygen tank lasts longer and then you have more time down there. But if you're like, your oxygen tank you're done. Like, go back up. You missed half of your fun.
Yep. That first dive was 27 minutes because I went through my air so quickly. Now I can do an hour and a half. And I told Larry this when he was getting certified. I told him that he had to, on every dive, get down to a certain point and then stop and inhale and rise up and exhale and rise down. And only once you've got your buoyancy correct, then continue on. Interestingly, I learned to hum to control my breathing. And so it would drive my dive buddy crazy because we'd be going along and suddenly he'd hear me humming in the background. Battle Hymn of the Republic was, for some reason, was a very good breathing song.
That's really smart to have the rhythm of how to breathe. I just had mine because I was in shock and I was breathing so slow. And everybody else went up the first time I went diving and I was like, wait, why are you guys all up there and I'm down here? And when I got up to the surface, they said you were breathing slower. You actually controlled your breathing and you were able to last. Your tank was able to help you sustain that longer dive. So I think that's a metaphor for life, don't you, Tracy? Kind of.
It is, and my air consumption is far better on night dives than it is on day dives, and some of that's because night dives are shallower. So you're not going through air as quickly. But part of it is also that without all that stimuli, I'm breathing even more slowly because I'm more relaxed. I mean, you've got stimuli below you, above you, to the sides, behind you. It's a 360-degree world instead of a 180-degree world. And there's things going on everywhere. And, I get so excited. I'm jerking around. I swim after one thing. I swim after another. And I eat at my air. But at night, it's whatever's in the beam of your light. And you go at a very relaxed pace, and you stop and you look, at a 3-foot section for a while, and it's very calming. I love night dives. If I could do a week of just diving at night, I would definitely do it. But I can't get my wife to agree to it.
So I hope that one takeaway that everyone has from today is to control your breathing, because, just calm thyself. It's like know thy dog, know thyself, and you can breathe a little slower and you can enjoy things a little longer because of controlling the oxygen consumption that you have going on in your life above water. So that's a huge takeaway. And I appreciate it just because I learned it kind of the hard way. And also, I thank you for bringing that enlightenment to all of our Dog Hugs people. I think it's really an important part of life.
It's my pleasure.
So, Tracy, congratulations on Flotsam. What led you to create a story with a woman scuba dive master in Palau?
So, well, thanks, Larry. I appreciate the props from you all the way through this process. First of all, I didn't create a woman with a female dive master within the story. I created her first. I actually created her 3 years before I ever thought of the story. And it came about because the scuba diving industry is a male-dominated industry. More than 2/3 of all dive masters are male. Women dive masters have a tough time. They get marginalized, they get leered at by customers, they get hit upon by customers and by fellow workers. They're oftentimes not given the most important roles. And the same thing is true in literature about dive masters. You've got all these strong masculine characters, and you really don't have women characters. But in fact, they are the most kick-ass people in the water on a lot of our dives. They have to be. They have to be better. They have to constantly be vigilant. They can't back off from any challenge, because if they do, it's just going to reinforce the attitudes that people have. So over time, we had experience. The woman who certified me for advanced open water, the woman who certified me for my mixed air certification, great divers. The mixed air certification woman dove with a 50 cubic foot tank instead of an 80 cubic foot tank because her air management was so good. And then loads of others. At every resort we've gone to, there have been these very strong, powerful, but also really, really interesting women. And so I thought I'd like to make a character, sort of an amalgamation of all of these women that we've met over the years. And so I formed that, and this was a 17-hour flight coming back from Singapore to the States. So I had a lot of time to think about this. And by the time we landed, I sort of formed what I wanted her to be. And I sort of put that away. I was working at a job where I did 60, 70-hour work weeks. And when I had downtime, I rested. And so I put it away. And then a few years later, I decided to write the book. And I took time off from work. And I wrote the first draft. And then I went back to work. And so it got shelved again. And it's taken me a long time. But so the character came first. That's why I wanted that character. Why Palau? It's a fascinating place. It's a country of 21,000 people that gets 70,000 divers visiting in a year.
Oh my goodness!
So that is their industry. It's also the first place that had a shark sanctuary, which is very important to us. Sharks are important to the entire ecosystem. If they are not present, then the ecosystem starts to fall apart. They are harvested in incredible numbers. Hundreds of millions of sharks a year are killed, primarily for shark fin soup. And sharks kill a handful of people a year. We kill hundreds of millions of sharks a year. They're the ones that have to worry about us. We don't worry about them. As a matter of fact, I've never been afraid in the water with sharks. I've been face to face with them. I've had them swimming around me. I once accidentally scared one, but they've never made me nervous. Now, I've never been in the water with a great white shark or an oceanic white tip. I probably would have a different reaction with them. But sharks are our friends. They're important, and so I wanted to have the sanctuary in there.
Yeah, it's really gripping, the whole story. I had so much fun reading it, and your descriptions are marvelous. You really, pun intended, plunge us into quite a world. Now, Tracy, I've always known you as a really fun storyteller. Now that you've got this great lead character in Riki Yamamoto, do you have more stories to tell with her?
Yeah, absolutely. So the other fascinating thing about dive guides is a lot of them are expats, and a lot of them are expats who, as one of them said, we're here because back home we're either wanted or we're not wanted. We're either wanted by the police or our family doesn't want us around. And so sometimes these people haven't gone home for 20 years, but they move around constantly. They stay at one resort for 3 years. A buddy calls up and says, "Hey, we got this opening at our resort. Come on over." So they leave the country. They go fly to another place. They're constantly on the move. And if you talk to them, they all have that common story. So it made sense that one way to keep it fresh is to have my character move for every book. And I've got 4 or 5 books in my head. Book number 2 is on paper. It's going to be released June of 2022.
And we get
on
the first
Amazon.
chapter, or at least the first scene of the first chapter at the end of Flotsam, which is really a treat.
Correct. And so it takes place in a place called Dahab in the Sinai Peninsula, which has a site called the Blue Hole, which is a hole that goes down 424 feet, I think, and is very attractive to risk takers. And there's a wall of plaques by the Blue Hole of the people who've died there. It is considered the most dangerous dive site in the world, not because it's dangerous, but because it attracts people who are risk takers, who do things that they're not trained to do and shouldn't be doing, and end up dead. And so the Sinai Peninsula was a great idea for a scene, and I had to go research it. And so I went in December of 2012. So Morsi suspended the Constitution of Egypt 2 weeks before I arrived. I discovered that credit cards and traveler's checks and ATMs don't work when there's a revolution going on and the Constitution has been suspended. So I had to live like a
the revolution is televised, but you can't get your check cashed.
Gil Scott Heron lives. So my luggage was stuck in Paris, nothing related to the Constitution. I had to buy a swimsuit, I had to buy a battery for my computer, and I had $32 left. I prepaid for pretty much everything, but I had to eat dinner and have a beer each night. And so I went to the same places where the dive masters go, which was really great. And it was fortuitous. I slept on a blanket on the sand in the Bedouin village because my sleeping bag was still in Paris. All these things actually made it into the book. The last story I'll tell you is there's a population of 25,000, 35,000 Russians who live in the Sinai Peninsula. They decided it was sort of their resort area. And I knew that in the book I wanted to have this Russian influence. And on New Year's Eve, I'm out in this Bedouin village. I'm going to go diving the next day, and a Ukrainian guy shows up. And he wants to go diving with me. And so we agreed we're going to do it. And but he wants to go to a village that's 5 kilometers away in the morning before the first dive. And we tell our dive master that. And the dive master says, "No, you can't. That's 10 kilometers round trip. It'll delay the first dive. It'll screw everything up." And he says, "Do not worry. I am young. I am strong. I am Caucasian." He's from the Caucasus Mountains. So he gets a free pass for saying that that's a positive attribute. That line made it into the book as well.
Well, I can't wait for that one. Well, such a treat. How's our little puppy doing there? Yeah, I'm going to mime Geraldine's words for her. She's in puppy heaven.
I was keeping you down.
She's still underwater with Tracy there.
I am actually. I think that tidal wave is a fitting name, or tsunami is actually a fitting name, don't you think?
That
for today's show.
Yeah. Flotsam is a great title for a book, but maybe not the best name for a dog.
You're right. Hey, you never know. Call him Flo.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be back with more of Tracy's interview on painted dogs now that it is finished doing its magic. But first, do want to remind folks of the giveaway from 5 Strands, and we're going to get on. We've got, and also some quick comments. Steve Collier, he's been scuba diving 4 times. So have I, Steve. Did he get into free diving? He's been to 62 feet. You've got me beat there, my friend.
Nice.
And Cindy has 2 birthdays. Murphy turns 5. Smokey turns 12. You're a good dog neighbor.
Ooh, I like those names. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Tracy is with us. 62 feet on a single bark is quite an accomplishment.
Yes.
Steve. free diving is certainly the most organic way to appreciate the depths. Tracy, thanks for joining in here. Hear that, Steve? He likes that. Yep.
Oh, free diving is awesome. I went free diving in Florida a few years ago, and it is hard and it's really neat. I was trying to look at sea dollars that were alive way down deep.
Very nice. Steve found the fountain of youth down there. Yes. All right. So
They both have.
Share with you before we finish up that interview, and folks, get into the giveaway, 5 strands, and here we're going to learn about the painted dogs of Africa.
Tracy, painted dogs are some of the most endangered dogs in the world. Would you tell us a little bit more about them, please?
Yes, certainly. And you're right, they are. They used to live in 63 different countries. They only live in 14 now. Their population is reduced down to about 7,000. They don't have a lot of natural predators. Lions may be their predators. Hyenas sometimes do battle with them. Humans are the biggest killer, the #1 killer of painted dogs. And it's farmers who believe that they are protecting their cattle. Although painted dogs haven't been known to be predators of cattle, there's these long-held beliefs that they are a threat, and so they've been killed and shot, over the years. Indeed, they're amazing animals. They're the largest canine in Africa. You can see they've got very long legs. They're pack animals. Their packs go from anywhere between 6 and 30 animals. One wonderful thing about them is the leader of the pack is the alpha female. There's an alpha pair that leads the pack, but it's the female that's truly the leader. And as the females get older in the pack, they actually leave, take some of the males with them, find a mate, and start their own pack as a separate entity. And so these packs don't have homes. They've got routes. The troop that we saw here, the pack that we saw here, actually has about a 250-mile route. There's a circular route that goes up through Kruger National Park in South Africa and down through the Mala Mala Reserve, which is where we saw them. And they're constantly on the move. Our experience was you either see them sleeping and resting or you see them trotting. They don't walk. They run high speeds when they're chasing something. They actually run 41 miles an hour at their fastest.
Wow.
Interesting fact about them, they don't have dew claws. And so they only have 4 toes, not 5, which enables them to run a little bit faster because dew claws don't get in the way as their legs go spinning around. And they can keep that up for up to an hour. A typical chase of theirs is about 1.2 miles. They are the most effective hunters of any animal in Africa. Cheetahs have a 75% success rate, but painted dogs have an 80% success rate.
Dog Hugs will be right back.
Here's your bill. Please pay out front.
A visit to your vet shouldn't cost you an arm or a leg. With a testing kit from 5 Strands, keeping your best friends healthy has never been so affordable. 5 Strands Affordable Testing will help you build a roadmap to better health. Go to 5strands.com today.
Doggy Wanna, from the makers of Meow Wanna. Revolutionary new dog toys and treats crafted with naturally calming Wanna Nip. Check us out on TikTok.
And now more Dog Hugs.
We've had several great encounters over the years with painted dogs. This is one of them. This was a group that we ran into late in the day. They usually hunt around dusk. It was around dusk when we found them. They were incredibly agitated. And it was behavior we'd never seen before. And our guide determined that they'd probably had a kill, and that kill had been taken away from them, either by hyenas or by a lion. When we looked at them, one of them still had blood on it, which meant that it had been interrupted before it had been cleaned. It had a full belly. Others did not have full bellies, so they actually hadn't gotten their food. So that all supported this theory that they had had their food stolen from them. So they were trying to rest, but they were constantly jumping up. They were very nervous. The alpha female kept on jumping up and looking around, and finally we left them because obviously they were disturbed, and we would be adding to that. We drove a little ways, and our guide actually found where the theft had taken place. He found scat from the painted dogs. And we found 5 lions, one of whom was eating an impala and not letting the others eat, which also supported this theory that it was a theft, because when they had a community kill, they all share in it. But this is one where the one lion had obviously stolen it from the painted dogs and was keeping it to itself. And so we watched that behavior for a while, knowing that the painted dogs were going on their way safely. And our guide had told us, by the way, that there were 14 in that pack, and he counted 14. So they may have lost their kill, but they didn't lose any of their members. And then we followed that pack of lions, and the 5 of them meandered down to the river and stopped, and they joined together for a drink. And I got a beautiful picture of the 5 of them all drinking water at the same time, shoulder to shoulder. And I wondered why that was. And it turns out that lions aren't the apex predators either. They're crocodiles in that river. And so when they're closer together and one of them's always watching, the others can drink and then they don't get surprised by a crocodile.
Dog Hugs will be right back.
Loving Pets Foundation's treats are an ideal reward when working to establish a schedule or when teaching new skills. They're small, soft, bite-sized treats. And all packages come with a free carabiner, which allows you to attach the package to your belt loop, or leash for easy access. At Loving Pets, we make solutions for better pets easier. Loving Pets, it's what we do.
And now more Dog Hugs.
They're amazing pack animals. They're the strongest pack behavior I've ever seen. They are incredibly social. They have a very rigid social structure. If you're not in the alpha couple, you do not reproduce. They are the only ones that are allowed to reproduce within the pack. And they may have 7, 8, 9, 10 cubs. And the gestation period is only 72 days. So they can... 72?
Because dogs are 63, so how are these 672? That's like another week-ish.
Yeah.
Wow, great point. And also with that alpha mentality, I'm assuming that's because of their survival mentality, because they're in the wild and they're not.
So it's interesting. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, you're right in line with what I'm asking, that my dogs don't have that drive in the pack behavior. A few of them do, but when you're out in the wild, that pack behavior is what helps you survive.
Yeah, it's why they're efficient. It's why they're efficient hunters, because they do that whole pincher move.
Yes.
Another fascinating thing about them, they eat food in big chunks. And if there are young behind, or if there's an injured one behind, they will go back and regurgitate some of the chunks of meat that they've just eaten so that everybody in the pack can eat. No dog left behind. So yeah, just fascinating animals. But the alphas, in a lot of situations, the alpha is the largest. It's the strongest lion that beats others in fights. That's not the case with the painted dogs. The alpha is one that has the attitude. So you don't have to be the biggest or the strongest. You just have to have the attitude. And so the pack that we saw had previously had a different alpha female. And when the alpha female showed up in this pack because she'd lost her husband in the other pack, which meant she had to leave so there could be a different alpha couple, she came in and said, "This is now my pack." And the existing alpha female said, "Fine, I'm not really a leader. I'm not really comfortable with this role. I'll back down and let you become the alpha." And it was a change of power that was without bloodshed and without strife.
So those are amazing points to make about pack survival and the way they survive as a pack to assist each other, because you're stronger together, right? It's a numbers. And if one is lagging, then you lose your strength in the pack.
And apparently they heal very quickly, but I was told even broken bones, a broken leg, the pack will come back and give them food, and they will come along slowly and follow the pack as best as they can. But again, they don't leave them behind. And when you've got a 250-mile route that you do, it would be very easy to do that. They also have been known to mourn their dead, which is, in the gorillas, primates do that. Whales do that, but those sort of higher level sentient beings. But the painted dogs, have that behavior that is not really typical in the canine world.
Dog Hugs will be right back. I can't wait. Hey, we are having all kinds of fun with painted dogs, and you've got a little one there.
Aren't painted dogs fascinating, Larry?
Amazing.
They're
Yes.
amazing. Look at that baby.
Yes.
It's so fun being a grand dog mom.
And that's great.
Only you can't send them home. Not till they're 8 weeks. I know, isn't he cute? He's all asleep. He just had a snack. While
Folks,
the interview was playing, he had a snack.
Oh, that's nice. Folks, I know we're running a little long, and that means there's still more time to get in on the giveaway here. And we do want to now finish our interview with Tracy. And so here we go into this, and then we're going to do our giveaway. So get in for the 5 strands giveaway. Last call.
Type yes.
Pets
Don't miss
suffer from
out.
red, itchy skin or flea bites, and nothing you've tried seems to help? Equus Microtech Shampoo and Spray are the finest and most cost-effective option available. Microtech Shampoo and Spray soothe on contact. Why go to the vet? Help your dog or cat with just 1 application at a fraction of the cost. Microtech stops scratching, biting, and licking instantly. Microtech smells great, and it's safe for use on puppies or kittens. Available online at eqyss.com. Microtech Shampoo and Spray. It's guaranteed.
I can't wait for that one. All right. All right, you know how that part goes. So we're going to get right into. Oh wait, I did want to share with you Tracy's shelter shout out. So I apologize for all the technical glitches that we're having today. There he was.
It's Crazy Wednesday.
Post a birthday picture
Some artwork of your pet.
or anything else you have you'd love to share.
At Dog Hugs, we're here to celebrate and share your dogs.
So Tracy, Dog Hugs always loves to help our guests shout out a shelter that is important to them. So is there a particular shelter or animal rescue organization you'd love to shout out on our show today?
There is. The short answer is the Ann Arbor Cat Clinic. Apologies to all the dogs out there.
No, it's okay. We love cats here.
We got our cat Belle, who was a Hurricane Katrina survivor. If you remember, after Katrina, thousands of animals were abandoned, not because the people chose to abandon them. They weren't allowed to bring the animals as they were being evacuated, and then they couldn't come back. And 3 weeks after the hurricane, they were still the animals were still stuck in the homes. So they were rescued. And they were brought to the Superdome, and they were sort of brought up to some degree of health. And then T. Boone Pickens kick-started a whole operation of airlifting the animals all around the country. And Belle was one of, I think, 4,000 animals that were brought to Michigan. And about 200 were brought through Ann Arbor. And the Ann Arbor Cat Clinic took in a lot of the cats. And when we went there, they had about 24 cats that were Katrina cats that were in horrible health. Belle took 3 months before she was healthy enough for us to adopt her. So shout out to them and to T. Boone Pickens for starting that whole thing.
And Tracy, my friend, Dog Hugs is wrapped in gratitude. Is there somebody in your life or in the world who you'd love to give a personal shout out to?
Yeah, I couldn't. There's only one answer. That's my parents, who raised us to be adventurers and bold and take chances, to travel, and I'm sure they would have loved to have heard this show because they would have loved the Painted Dog experience.
Fantastic. The little squeaker's going there, huh?
He's asleep. He's not snoring though.
Charlie, how many folks in today's giveaway here? It's time to get on that. And while we have 6 folks, and while we're getting the Wheelorama set up, again, our thanks to Tracy Grogan my good friend, and now Geraldine's new friend. And Geraldine, who do you and the little puppy have for gratitude today?
Well, first of all, he's having a dream. I'd love to know what he's dreaming about right now. But my gratitude is for my parents who helped teach me not only to whelp puppies and how to care for puppies as they grow throughout their life cycle, but just in general, how to love animals, whether they're two-legged, four-legged, furry, not so furry. So they taught me how to love. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for all of your love and support through the years, and also for teaching me to love animals properly. I really appreciate you. So stop and let's see who won their 5 strands testing kit today.
Very good, Spider. Number 5. Who's
Lucky number 5
today? Good job, Spider. Very, very good. Who's number 5 today, Charlie?
Cindy Weber.
Cindy Weber. Congratulations, Cindy. You win today's package from 5 Strands Affordable Testing. Say, Spider, don't be jealous.
Spider, you'll get to meet one of these guys one day soon. Don't worry.
I can't wait. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you again to Tracy Grogan, and thanks to all of you for staying with us on our big wildlife show today. And we are, there we go. We are grateful
for you.
Hey.